I want to kick us off by talking about like when we're doing prospecting of any kind, discovery is such a big piece of this. What's your like number one favorite thing that you do in terms of discovery?
The one that I get the best feedback and like the greatest engagement from is something called 2 buckets. So you provide prospects with context around what your clients care about, and then you ask your prospect, where do you feel like you live? So if I were to display it, it might sound like, so Bob, just to give you some context, our clients kind of typically fall into one of 2 buckets or one of 2 camps, if you will. Camp number 1 is they'll say, Charles, we really want to do better at significantly reducing the amount of time it takes for us to conduct research. We're looking for help there. Or they'll fall into camp number 2 and say, actually, no, we actually don't care about that at all. What we really care about is mitigating risk on ensuring we don't miss critical insight that could be important to our company when we're doing market research. It typically fall into one of those buckets. I recognize they're not mutually exclusive. I'm curious which bucket you feel like you fall into. That's what it is. So what it does is, it does a number of things. It provides context, right, to the prospects. They see your experience, right? But the second thing that it does, it helps them think about where they live. And they'll kind of like usually get a response like, oh, that's a good question. And then the third thing is once they give you an answer, the answer helps you kind of frame how you want to take the rest of the call. Because they may say, I actually don't care about the first one at all. I really care about the second one. You know, they've admitted to it. I can say, oh, can you tell me a little bit more about how you think about it? And then it's very freeing. So that's something that people really like.
Can you use this? Do you use this? Call, email? Do you have a preference?
Yeah, it works everywhere, just at different levels. Like if you're on a scheduled call, it's like you do it in a very deep, thoughtful way. If it's in a cold call, you just do it in a more bridged version. Right? I actually got a cold call yesterday from somebody that did it. And it was like, wow. And she asked me like, how do you think about those things? And I was like, first of all, this is a great cold call, which she didn't expect. So it works there. And it works in email as well. Just helps people better understand what your clients care about. And then it allows them to give themselves an opportunity to tell you what they care about. And if it's neither one of those 2 things, that's also good. They just tell you, well, it's not one of those 2, but we care about Y, we care about Z or what have you. And that just really helps start a conversation, which I really, really like.
Do either of you do the 2 bucket theory?
I use that in my cold call opener right now. I'd normally preface it saying, hey, Will Aiken from wherever I'm calling from myself right now, it's just me. Mind if I share the 2 big problems a lot of folks come to me and tell me they're seeing? And that kind of builds some curiosity. They go, yeah, sure. What are those 2 big problems? Then I can just, in 15 seconds say this or this. Don't suppose either of those relate to you right now. And, normally a chuckle if you layer in a couple of jokes in there as well.
It helps people think. And that is very refreshing for people. And when you give people a chance to think about things, they respect you and it makes them feel good. So I like that a lot.
I love it. Yeah. Okay. Let's switch over to email, if you don't mind. And email in terms of cold prospecting. What are some of the things that make a great cold email?
Number 1, continuity. Most of the time when I get emails, they're like, hey, I saw you like cats. That's awesome. We have an HR solution that helps you make your people happy. Do you want a demo? And that doesn't make sense. So my first rule is connect the subject line to the opening line, then connect the body to the opening line, and then connect the call to action to the body. So everything should make sense. So if you're going to talk about cats, which I encourage you not to, make it some kind of metaphor. But my second tip is that there should be some level of relevancy. It needs to be timely. There needs to be some research that justifies why am I reaching out and why am I reaching out right now?
Right meow.
Right meow.
Right meow.
Okay, so continuity, don't talk about cats unless that's what you're selling.
I think the one time that you can talk about cats is if you are doing some kind of outbound campaign that is not meant to book a meeting right this minute, but is meant to build relationship. And so I think there's a time when I'm just trying to connect with Charles and get Charles to be my friend. And so I'm just going to try to find ways for us to vibe together so that when you are on the market, you are like, oh, man, I really need an HR solution that's going to make my people happier. Wait, Sarah, she's so great. We love cats. We should hang out. I'll give her a call right now. But that's like the only time I would talk about cats is more for relationship building than actually like in action trying to book a meeting.
Then cats are off limit.
No cats.
When we're thinking back to cold prospecting emails, do you have a framework that you're utilizing when it comes to email follow-up? What are you doing?
Yeah, 100% have a framework. Otherwise,
I
how
knew
could
you
I
would.
remember it? I've got short-term memory. So for my cold emails, this framework's been used in a few different ways. I like to call it OPSA, which stands for Observation, Problem, Solution, Ask. So this is a first touch cold email framework that you can use. It essentially goes like this: observation, something about them; problem, the problem that you can hypothesize because of the observation; solution, how you help with that; and then an ask, a CTA. It's just like, is this relevant for you? So if I was reaching out to you, Leslie, and I was selling, let's say, Notion, which is like a project management and communications platform, I could say something like, observation, hey, Leslie, spotted Zoom Info, sponsored the Red in Brooklyn event. Great to see that they've renewed. And then I go into a problem. The problem could be a lot of folks in the media space find that the biggest risk for customer churn is lack of communication between them and their clients. Solution, we work with organizations like 30 Minutes to President's Club to track, manage, and communicate the performance of the campaigns that clients run with them to their clients to keep them happy. And then I can do the ask, which is close-ended. Is this relevant to you right now? Worth a look. Are you using anything to keep track of your project and sponsorships? That's my first email. I follow that framework pretty well. It's 75 words and under. Subject line for that one, I just try and go for one word. Maybe even just say Zoom Info. That would probably get your attention, given that you renew things. I think the problem that a lot of sales reps fall into is they try to put too much in their first email. They try to tell everything. Notion's got a million different things you can do for a million different personas. But what I'm going to do in my follow-ups is I'm just going to start talking about different problems, assuming the first didn't resonate. Mm-hmm. Then I could talk about keeping projects on track, managing events like this, and how Notion might help with that. Maybe layering in some value adds, so I could send you an onboarding checklist that a lot of our clients are finding success with using Notion, and that over time, hoping that I can strike a chord that resonates with you. So it's cold email and follow-up.
OPSA again.
Observation.
Problem.
Solution. Ask.
Ask.
I love
that.
Ask.
Got it.
I love that.
What is the point or the purpose of a cold call, in your opinion?
It is not to book a meeting. It is to start conversation.
Sales is obviously, it's very counterintuitive. What we feel makes sense most of the time doesn't. And so most salespeople feel it makes sense to call because I want to book a meeting. That's normal that people feel that way. And it takes a lot of failure to realize that, wait a second, my feelings don't really reflect the reality of the situation.
It's tough because it's what we're measured on, right? Booked meetings. But to your point, having a conversation, if you make the minimum kind of the worst case scenario is that you gather some information from a cold call, that helps you massively as well. That you can walk away knowing who might be the right person be, or if they do or don't need it as well. I think your kind of like two options of bucketing earlier was really good, because if they do say, hey, neither of those things are relevant to us, and then they say we don't have any problem, and then you maybe offer up two more and they're still not relevant, I don't really want to book meetings or have a whole sales cycle with someone who doesn't have any problems with the way they're doing things. So that's still a good outcome for me. I've learned they don't have the problem they solve, although at least they don't think they have the problem that we solve for. So that's a good outcome as well.
Your quota will go up if you book meetings that don't convert to closed one. So if you book really good meetings because you had conversations and you qualified people in versus qualifying them out, then you're going to have a higher conversion rate and you're going to make more money and your quota is going to stay lower. How about you just take a meeting and you pressure someone into having that follow-up with you? One, they're probably going to no-show, so you're going to have a higher no-show rate, so you're going to have to book more, so you're going to be putting in more KPIs. And then two, if they do show up, it might end up being disqualified by the AE. So you have to book more and you have to do more KPI. And then your AEs don't want to work with you. And then you don't get promoted when you want to be promoted. So it just works better, the better customer experience. And it is a better experience for you as the employee, because if you book really good meetings, then people want to work with you.
A lot of AEs will ask me, oh, Charles, what happens if those problems don't resonate? What do I do then? Like, I get a lot of that. I'm like, nothing. You let it go. and they have a surprised face. They're like, oh, I didn't, because they're used to kind of like, I have to win everything. But it's very interesting. Like, what do I do if they're not a fit? Then they're not a fit.
And then you go find people who are a fit, right? Like, I think the sooner you get to that answer, that's the win right there. As an account executive, especially now that I'm running my own sales, because I know really well, the moment I stopped trying to make everyone a fit and start assuming that no one was a fit and then look for reasons to prove that they are, instead of assuming everyone's a fit and trying to prove that, I found myself wasting less time on deals that just weren't going anywhere. And those deals that don't go anywhere, they wasted my time, like twice as long on sales cycle.
On some level, you have to care less about the outcome and care more about the conversation.
This stuff is really hard for people to do.
I will caveat your tip though, where sometimes you're not speaking the language of that person, and it might be worth taking those buckets and rephrasing them.
100%.
Or, before you qualify out and go, oh, this is a waste of time, say, okay, well, I'm curious, what is top of mind? What do you care about?
Or sometimes, like you said, they misunderstood what you said. I actually called a senior fellow at a big investment bank, and he said, yeah, that's not for us. So I said, oh, I didn't realize that. Are you saying you're not conducting research with like on brokers or Ks or Qs? No, that is something that we do. And then I said, oh, okay, that's kind of what we help with. And then it turned into a conversation, to your point.
I've had the exact same thing happen where I was like, can you just back up? So you're in charge of blah. And does this team report to you? And do you ever have this problem with this other team? They're like, yeah, that happens all the time. Okay, because that's what I was trying to call about. So I think I just kind of messed up on my initial
blame
pitch.
yourself, not them. Don't make them feel silly. And I think also, especially in the context of cold calling, like people will reject as their default response. Like they have a reflex to reject.
Okay.
So sometimes asking the same question in a different way, it's kind of like going, hey, how are you? And you go, yeah, I'm good, thanks, you. And then I go, yeah, but how are you really? And you're like, I'm a mess, and then I get the real answer, right? Sometimes you just have to break them out of that like autopilot, reflex, instinct response of, hey, no, neither of those things are a problem for us, into, oh, I'm actually thinking about this now actively.
Same goes when you get a negative response from a cold email and someone just says, I'm not interested, or take me off your list. The first thing I do is call them.
Ask them if they need a hug.
They do.
Sounds like you need a hug.
I one time got chewed out by this woman when I cold emailed her. I cold called her like twice during the week and then emailed her twice. And she chewed me out so hard. It was a multi-paragraph long on an email. And I said, oh man, I'm sorry. I'm just a stupid SDR. I really didn't mean to overstep my bounds. And she came back with like, so sorry. Don't ever call yourself stupid.
Coming to rescue you.
And then she bought like 6 months later.
Yeah.
Slow down. Steve,
A handshake.
Yeah, that means they're out that.
They got rejected on an email. Charles, how would you respond? I ask them the same question every time I go, did you call them? The answer 98% of the time is no. I'm like, what are you talking to me for?
You didn't even.
Well,
why are you talking to me? You should be
same thing.
What are you talking to me for?
It's like
Cool.
I think email's great as a channel to like get interest and get quick responses as well, but you can't ask that many questions over email without it like looking like a checklist. Buzz them. Like I was working with a rep at Shopify recently, and they got a response that, hey, no, we've just changed vendor, and they said something like, does your platform do this? ? And she replied saying, yeah, we do that. Hope the rollout goes well. And I was like, no, that question is telling us something. Call him and say, hey, you asked about this. What's making that important? Turns out his point of sale platform that he just integrated didn't do wholesale. And it was a massive pain point. And then she booked the meeting.
Turned out it picked the wrong vendor.
Should have called Shopify in this case, but I'm not affiliated with Shopify.
Neither am I. But it is trash, that other competitor. Yeah. Trash. In this scenario.
I gotta hear, what's your cold call opener?
My cold call opener? Usually it's just permission based. That's just pretty much my opener.
Do it. Ring, ring. Hi, this is Sarah.
Hey, Sarah, this is Charles calling. I know you weren't expecting my call. Is it right if I tell you why I'm calling real quick? I'm calling with Alpha Sense.
For me, don't necessarily recommend anyone does this. I'm like, what's up? It's Will Aiken here. Logan Leslie spotted Zoom info on renewed as a sponsor. Got a minute? It's a cold call. I'll be brief though.
Cold call opener.
Hey, Leslie, it's Sarah Brazier calling from Demo. Have you been? It works.
My tone matters the most. I like, if you're cool, you're calm.
My number one tip is be someone that person would want to get a beer with.
I've heard a little bit about reaching out to the C-suite. Do you have specific tip, Will, when you're reaching out to the C-suite?
Talk to someone lower down in the organization, someone who's maybe an IC. If you're selling to sales teams, talk to an SDR and account executive, get a lay of the land. If you're selling to HR teams, maybe talk to the payroll specialist, just to get some more context in there, because then you can leave something hyper relevant and not blow your shot, maybe the only shot you might have with that executive. So big fan of bottom up approach when I'm going to those top folks, head honcho.
What about prospects that ghost you on the initial meeting? Do you have like a go-to?
I do have a go-to.
response?
It's my favorite go-to.
Let's hear it.
Goes back to what Will was saying and Sarah about blaming yourself. And I send an email that says something along the lines of, "Hey, Sarah, I may have jotted our time down incorrectly. If I did, I'm sorry. Were we still on for 2:00? That's it." The response rate is very high. I don't have any data. And actually, a lot of my AEs and SDRs get callbacks, and the prospect apologized.
I just move the invite, move it 2 days, same time, and send them an email saying, "Hey, looks like something must have come up. Hope everything's okay." I don't like anything that makes them feel guilty. You make someone feel guilty,
They're out.
they're going to avoid you.
Yeah.
Exactly. No one likes feeling that way. And then send them an email saying, "Move the invite this time. Let me know if that doesn't work."
Ooh, I love that.
I do that too. And then like if they ghost you like 3 times, then you can do a slightly guilty tactic, which is just say, "You okay?"
You okay?
Yeah,
okay?
just
You
you
okay?
okay?
Yeah.
You up?
Everything okay?
For everything okay? I love that.
If you were to move to an org where the ICP was not sales or sales leaders, what would you do different for your brand?
I mean, my brand is for me, so probably nothing. I probably would end up talking more about what's working in that space. And inevitably, you'll end up talking about the problems that, say, you're selling to cybersecurity, that cybersecurity is coming up against. But I mean, my brand is talking to salespeople about the experience of selling, and that's what it is on LinkedIn. And I'm doing it to help other people because I've had really crappy managers and I've had a really rough time trying to be good.
Cameron asks about the budget objection. What's your fast, quick style response to a budget? Don't have the budget, Charles. It's not there.
There are a lot of responses. One response that comes to mind is it secretly a timing thing? A lot of times people, when they tell me it's a budget issue, it's secretly just a bad time, or maybe it's not a priority.
Yeah, I think that the objections, you just got to get to the truth. So similar kind of framework, ignores what they said. Totally understand budgets are strict these days. Most folks, you don't just have this money lying around. Is it that you don't think, and then I might recap the problem that I offered up isn't a problem, or do you just got too much on your plate? What I'm trying to get to is the truth. I'll recap that problem because, again, I want to jump out of reflex mode and go, "Oh, that's the problem that he's calling about."
How do you handle a sales call when you're not getting to a decision maker necessarily? You might be greeted by someone who's a gatekeeper or a admin or whatever that looks like.
You know, this is why I call cell phones.
Hashtag cell phones.
I think like at the end of the day, that gatekeeper, if it's that person's personal assistant or whatever, they often know that person's schedule really well. They know what strategic priorities are important to them. And so I end up asking some questions, trying to befriend them and saying like, would this person actually be in charge of that? And maybe you can get a name, maybe you can get an email. Worst case scenario, ask to be sent through to voicemail.
Okay. The three of you, thank you so much for your time.
This was
your
great.
thoughts.